So first of all, a little Tigers update. Schedule-wise, Tigers going into this game that they're down 6-2 to the Guardians. They went into this game though with a 4-game win streak. Last night they surprised me. They won in a shutout, an ugly shutout, but a shutout nonetheless. 4-1 or 4-1, 1-0 to the Guardians. And I mean, hey, look, actually, I'm just saying, right now they're chipping away. It's 6-3 now, Guardians. But no, I don't have a whole lot of hope that they'll be able to come back here. But it's still early. But you know, I don't know what to do with this team. I really don't feel great about them. They swept the Reds, and by the way, this is a really sad stat. That was their first sweep since their first series of the year. I hate it here. This is awful. This is terrible. How could anyone want to live here? This is the worst. Why would anybody volunteer to be a Tigers fan? That's what I want to know. I didn't volunteer for this. I root for them because of the hometown team. I don't. Anyways, all of that to be said, the question I asked is, are we back? And as far as I'm concerned, based on the 6-3 deficit right now, the answer is unequivocal no. It was kind of fun to have a good weekend on the road against the Reds. This week leading into the All-Star break, probably not going to be nearly as fun. You got two teams that are leading their divisions respectively. Yeah, the Dodgers are definitely leading that division. With the Guardians leading your own division. So these are the games. If you want to just make the miraculous comeback, you got to beat your division rivals. That's for sure. And for this weekend with the Dodgers, you basically just want to come out of that and not get swept. If you can win one game, you feel good. Because the Dodgers are a World Series contender, and you are basically a minor league team, at least compared to the Dodgers. A look ahead, though, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to give myself any amount of hope because that's stupid. You don't want to give yourself hope. That's so sad. After the All-Star break, they have the Blue Jays on the road. They go to the Guardians on the road, so they're going to have some level of familiarity there. Back to the Twins, and then back to the Guardians again to end the month. Jeez, I mean, can we play another team other than the Cleveland Guardians? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't even look at this. We played the Guardians 50% of this month. Let's see, 8, 10. We play a Guardians for a third of the days of the month this year. This in July. That's ridiculous. How did the schedule makers do this? That is absurd. But anyway, it's good to see them sweep. I'm not gonna deny that, but it's just not sustainable. And with the trade deadline, I believe. Let me actually look up. I'm pretty sure it's the 30th. Trade deadline. Let's see. I see when is the trade deadline? When MLB trade deadline? It is July 30th. So July 30th, that'll be that second game of, I believe, a 3-game set against it'll just be a 2-game set against the Guardians. I don't know why, but so it'll be another. Hey, that's weird. I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that's just how this always ends up. Because last year's trade deadline was also the day of a show. So this year's trade deadline is also going to be the day of a show. So we're going to have immediate reactions to that in a couple of weeks. So that should be fun. Hopefully we actually do something instead of just trade Michael Lorenzen for Hao Yu Lee and then get bamboozled by Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm not over it. I'm not over it emotionally. I know it's been over. Well, I haven't been over a year. I know it's been a year. I'm still not over it emotionally. But I wanted to take this time because I want to feel a little positive and maybe offer some glimmer of hope and good times. I want to talk about Colt Keith. I'm going to do a little bit of a not a deep dive necessarily, but at least point out that, hey, maybe we have something potentially, at least an extra piece, right? Not necessarily that we got, Marcus Semien, although that'd be nice. But we might have a piece in Colt Keith, who's only 22 years old. But this year, you look at his numbers, they're not really doing much for you. Batting 245, 27 runs, 29 RBIs, just 7 home runs. I don't know if I'm assuming that doesn't include tonight. So now he's at 8 home runs. Uh, and then a couple extra RBIs there as well. But I wanted to do just a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call this stat mining, but sure. So Colt Keith, he struggled for much of the month of June, uh, or at least the beginning of the month, and then sort of started to turn it on a little bit. So about halfway through, let's say the month of June is 30 days. So let's do June 15th to yesterday, because they don't include today. So from June 15th to today, that would be games 61 to 80. So about, what is that, 19 games? So 19 games. Over a 19-game stretch, Colt Keith he has batted two. That would be bad if it was 204. 304. He's got a 902 OPS. If I could see, he's got 5 home runs, 10 RBIs. So that's 10 RBIs over about 20 games. So that's about half an RBI a game. If that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean. That's pretty good. All right, like that's impressive. Batting average on balls in play. That's another Mike special stat. That's 333. So that means that not only is he hitting the ball in general, he's making good contact in so much as when the ball is hitting to play, he's usually getting a hit. At least 33% of the time, he's getting a hit, which is good. It's good stuff to see. Now, there is something of reality, and I don't want to be a party pooper, but I went to look at his Baseball Savant page, and it's not great. It's not great. He's a lot of blues, okay? Batting run value is in the 28th percentile. Fielding run value, 29th. Average exit velocity is in the 23rd percentile. Hard hit rate, 20th percentile. 29th in chase percentage. 19th in walk percentage. Like, it's not great. A lot of blues, not a whole lot of above average. His best stat is his expected batting average. He's in the 66th percentile on Baseball Savant. Above average in whiff percentage and K percentage. But overall, now, the thing is, this is taking into account the entire year. So I couldn't, at least I'm not totally sure. Maybe if somebody knows how to do this, they can tell me how. But I don't know how to just like break it down by, say, that same span, June 15th from onwards. But because obviously he had a really terrible month of April, he had a bad month of June, he had a pretty good month of May, and now he's had a pretty good start to the month of July. So overall, he's, according to the analytics, according to Baseball Savant, he's not a great player. However, he is trending at this point, because we look at those other stats where we look at the fact that he is, over, less than a month, about 20 days, about 20 games, I should say. He's been a 300 batter and a 900 OPS hitter. So he's on the pace potentially to make up for that bad start, to where you might look at the end of it and, right now he's still a negative WAR player, negative 0.5 player on Fangraphs on the WAR. So maybe by the end of it, he's maybe half a WAR positive, and he's like a 260 hitter with, let's just say, 15 home runs, maybe 20 home runs. So we're feeling really good. And he's like a 98 OPS plus, or even, we want to feel real good, maybe a 108 OPS plus. If he ends up with a 108 OPS plus by the end of the season, I'll feel really good about Colt Keith, especially given the fact we did sign this guy going into the season. So we feel like, it seems like the administration believes this guy is the real deal. And maybe this stretch that we have seen from Colt Keith recently is the real Colt Keith. And that beginning was just, a young player getting his sea legs a little bit. So I like Colt Keith. I really hope that he can develop into that, everyday second baseman. I don't have a whole lot of hope in the Tigers' developmental staff, but I don't know. It's a new administration. It's a new player development, mindset from president of baseball ops, Scott Harris. And he is still 22. So he's got a lot of room to grow. He's got a lot of potential. And we're going to have him until 2029. So that's another 5 years of Colt Keith developing. He will end the contract. He'll be what, 27, 28, depending on when his birthday is. So I think for Colt Keith, like if he can show he can continue this trajectory and end up with an above league average batting average, above league average OPS, and some pretty nice looking savant pages, then maybe the Tigers will have something. I mean, they already seem to have Riley Green. They haven't locked him up, so I'm waiting on that. But I'm sure that will come if he continues at the production he is at. And I just hard to feel strongly about the Tigers because they just feel like they're on the slow rebuild plan. And I get it, but you just better be right. Is sort of the thing. So not that I guess either way you better be right, but at least in the immediate, like the sort of maybe not quick fix, but the like make bold moves strategy, I can like sort of know immediately whether or not the person is going to be right. Whereas now it's like, well, it could be 5 years until I figure out that Scott Harris isn't the guy. But either way, Colt Keith, really solid ball player, starting to grow. Hopefully he will continue at the pace that he's gone through about the past month or so. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.